Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Platinum with only fire types was a fun but pretty hard team run. Let's follow that up with a fun gimmick run. Today's the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon Black 2 with a team of only version exclusives. So unlike in Black and White, where there's very few version exclusive Pokemon to pick from as a result of most of them being in the post game, Black 2 and White 2 both have Pokemon from the first 5 generations scattered all across the region. That means not only can we make a full team, but there's more than 6 exclusives we can get our hands on, so we have some options into what kind of team we want to build, and that's without even having to rely on legendaries, so this should be a fun one. Like always, I'm writing the script as I go through with the challenge, so this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. Well, we're actually getting a full team this time, so I'm sure that we'll win. The real question is if this team will do better than whatever team we end up getting in Pokemon White 2. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use version exclusives. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So right off the bat, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Oshawott with Vullaby so that we can do the whole run with it. Same reason as last time, it's normally a Pokemon we wouldn't get until right near the end of the run, so it'll make things a little bit more interesting if we have it near the start. Our nature is Naughty for more attack and less special attack. It's absolutely awesome. I didn't even need to restart to get a good nature this time. Alright, the journey starts. I figure the early game won't be too brutal, Vullaby is pretty good, and we get a second Pokemon right after the first gym. In fact, we're getting new Pokemon after the first few gyms, so it shouldn't take super long until we have a full team. I'm hoping that's going to keep the pace of this run going pretty quick. The thing that really slows you down in Gen 5 runs is having to overlevel, since the Gen 5 experience system gives you diminishing returns when you're fighting Pokemon that are a lower level than you, making overleveling really hard. Hopefully having a large team early on is going to mean that we can get by without leveling too high, at least early on. Alright, I got some fights coming up, so wish me luck. Alright, so the first rival fight is easy, mostly because we're super effective against them, and he was trying to lower our defense, but we couldn't have our defense lowered because of the Big Pex ability. After that was the normal gym, and I actually thought this might be hard since Gust was doing almost nothing on the regular trainers, but as soon as we got Pluck, we had an easy time. It's our first physical flying move, so we hit a lot harder with that than we did with Gust. Hey, it's time for our second Pokemon already. On the way to the Poison Gym, we went south to pick up Magby. I love Magmar, so this is pretty sweet. It's a very strong baby Pokemon that becomes a lot better once it evolves. We're going to be able to make it a Magmortar in this run too, although we won't actually get the item we need for that until after the 8th gym, so it's going to be a while. Plus, it doesn't even evolve into Magmar until level 30. It's still reasonably strong from the start, so I think that I'll want to level it up early on so that it'll be strong by the time of the Bug Gym. We have the Poison Gym first though, so let's go do that. First up at the Poison Gym is Coughing, so we use our underleveled Magby. We hit Smokescreen, we take some serious damage from Tackle, but we luck out and Flame Body burns them right away, so we get to just keep laying in hits with Ember as they hardly hurt us after the attack cut. They hang on for a long time thanks to a Super Potion, but in the end, we still survived with a tiny bit of health left. Whirlipede is last, and I was hoping to burn it too, but no such luck. We actually had a bit of a hard time even though Pluck was super effective. We weren't doing as much as I expected, and we were taking decent damage. We won, but it was a bit close. Time for our next Pokemon. I actually had to change my system clock to get this one, but it's Buneary. If that's actually how you pronounce that, then I love that name. We just go through the sewers to the Castelia City Park to get our hands on one. This one is Adamant, so more attack and less special attack. It's perfect since it's a better physical attacker anyway. I kind of feel like I've used one of these in a challenge before, but I'm blanking on which one. Anyway, I don't think it's going to help much in the upcoming Bug Gym, but we got a lot of levels in the sewer anyway, so I'm sure that Magby can handle it. In the long run, Buneary is for sure going to be useful because it's got a wide type variety when it comes to TMs. We can even teach it Dig to help out in the Electric Gym. Let's go take out the Bug Gym and Colress so we can get a couple new Pokemon. Well, that went downhill fast. Swadloon was obviously easy, but Dwebble didn't just stall us out, but he beat our whole team. Easily. Most of his team may be double weak to flying and fire, but our flying and fire types are also both weak to rock, so he was doing serious damage with Smackdown. Mix that with how he has a hyper potion, and we really didn't stand a chance. I think I'll grind the whole team up a few levels. Magby gets a new move soon anyway. Maybe that'll make all the difference. Oh well, that wasn't so bad. I got a few levels and I came back with Flame Burst. I knew it would be easier, but we totally squashed them no problem. I figure Colress won't be too bad either, now that we have a strong fire move. Yeah, that's what I thought. Getting paralyzed made it a little bit scary, but we hit super hard. That Megme is gonna have a real easy time with Colress for probably most of the game. Hey, it's already time for 2 new Pokemon. First is Gothita. I remember really liking this one in the Black with Only version exclusives run. It's just a really solid 3-form Psychic type. We've got a Twisted Spoon too, so we can really easily give its Psychic moves just a little bit more punch. Right after, I went to the nearby grove to catch Heracross, one of my favorite Gen 2 Pokemon. It's a bug and fighting type, so it's got a massive weakness to flying, but other than that, it's amazing. Crazy high attack, and it learns a lot of great moves. I'm gonna go ahead and slap the new Dig TM on Heracross and Bunnyary. I think that we've got a pretty good shot at beating the Electric Gym already. I'm gonna get Megby up to level 30 to evolve it first, though. I get the feeling that it being a bit tankier and having Fire Punch will give us a stable core to our team. We'll need that if we're gonna win the fight. Also, sorry if I don't sound great. I'm getting more nasally as the voiceover is going on. I swear it's way too dry in here. So as expected, the Electric Gym starts with a Molga using Volt Switch, but we hit a big Fire Punch first. Problem is, second is Flaffy who paralyzes us. We hit it hard with a Fire Punch before it Volt Switched back out to a Molga, so at least we hit it to knock it out. As Flaffy came back in, we switched to Heracross to use Dig. We knocked it out right away. Last is Zebstrika though, and we instantly got crit by Flame Charge to nearly faint. We hit Dig for huge damage, but we went down right after. I tried sending in Bunnyary to use Dig as well, but then we got crit by Volt Switch to faint instantly. What are the chances of that? Out to Gothita, who took 2 hits but hardly did any damage before fainting, so in the end, I had to send our Magmar back in to tank a hit and finish it off. I'm just happy we weren't fully paralyzed, or that might have been a loss. So while I was traveling to the ground gym, I was thinking about how I'm gonna beat it. That's when I remembered something. Didn't I have Cottony in this for the regular Black run? Why isn't that on my exclusives list? Oh yeah, that's right. Bulbapedia doesn't include it on the exclusives list, since you can only find it in the wild in Black and Black 2, but you can trade for it in-game in White and White 2, so it's not exactly exclusive. Part of me thinks I should probably just go catch one, but then again, part of why I allowed it in the previous run is because otherwise I'd have had only 2 Pokemon for most of the game in Black. I can make a full team without legendaries or Cottony in this one, so I think I'll just leave Cottony alone. Let's see if we can just brute force our way through the gym with some good fighting type moves, then we'll go take on the tournament. Alright, this fight was crazy. So first at the ground gym was Krokorok, so we just went ahead and one-shot him with a Brick Break. Then Sandshrew was next, and we had no good answer, so I sent in our under-leveled Volibee. We just kept using Fly for ages, and thanks to insane Quick Claw luck, we kept flying before he could hit us. Then staying in the air until after he misses, so we got tons of free hits in on him. It probably didn't matter thanks to him healing though, and eventually he got a rollout that was just sweeping through our team. It ended up taking down Volibee, Gothita, and Bunnyary. Once we got to Magmar, we still fainted, but we burned him, and the burn damage made him faint. So it's down to Heracross and Excadrill. We were trading hits, and I thought I was going to faint to his Rock Slides, but we ended up just hardly surviving with a Sliver as we took him out. I can't believe how close that was. Is the tournament actually going to be hard this time? We aren't that high of a level. First is our rival, and he's not too bad. Servine crit us with Slam, but either in that, he went down pretty fast to some hits from Heracross. We had to switch to Magmortar as Tranquil came out, and we pretty easily overpowered him with some Fire Punches. Last is his Simisear, but Magmar could resist fire moves, so we took it out perfectly fine. I love Magmar. It's probably going to be the best team member on our whole team for most of the run. Sharon was even easier, with his whole team just being a sweep to Brick Break. Last is Colress, who starts with Magneton, so we fail to one-shot it thanks to his ability, we get paralyzed, lose accuracy to Mirror Shot, and then eventually take him down. Elgin is next, and I switched to Volibee to pretty easily take it down with a few hits of Feint Attack, and Clink is as simple as can be after we switched to Magmar to use Fire Punch. I guess it was a harder tournament than in solo runs, but it's still really not that bad. Alright, so I'm not exactly thrilled with how things are going. We've been doing okay, but we've quickly gotten really underleveled. That's not so bad for Heracross since it still hits crazy hard, but Gothita, Bunnyary, and Volibee are all nearly useless against trainer Pokemon at this point. I'm gonna have to just manually grind them up a bit before the Flying Gym, because even if it's a normally easy gym, it won't be if our entire team is a way lower level than them. It's not like we can rely on Heracross for that fight, because he's double weak to Flying, and Magmar can't really do the whole thing on his own. Well, the Flying Gym started with a really long back and forth between Magmar and Swoobat, where it used Attract early, and we lost a million turns to Flinch. Thanks to a burn, we didn't get hurt too badly, and eventually took her out. Problem is, next is Swanna, and even with me grinding for almost an hour, it's a way higher level than us and takes out our entire team no problem. Okay, I think it's time I just use rare candies to get the team to around their level. Manually grinding all of this in Gen 5 is going to make the video super late, without a doubt. If you think grinding in solo runs is bad in Gen 5, grinding in team runs is on a whole different level. Again, they want you to build a balanced team, you know, so that you don't need to overlevel, but these challenges are all about not having a balanced team. Okay, so I got the team to level 38, just a hair under the level of Urswana. This time things actually go worse against Swoobat, with us actually taking more damage. But it's all on Volibee, and I don't think that it would have been useful against the rest of our team, so I guess that's okay. This time I thought we were doing okay trading shots with Swanna and Lopunny, although our returns were doing less than I was hoping considering our friendship is so high. Eventually, we fainted though, and I had to send Gothorita in. The only reason we took her out is because she stopped using Roost despite being able to out-heal us. Last is Skarmory, but Magmar pretty easily took it out. Since when is the Flying Gym hard? Alright, time for the last Pokemon on our team. We've got Spoink. Not only is it a level away from evolving, but the very first one that I caught has a perfect nature and ability. Thick fat, so it resists fire and ice. It's got extra special attack and less regular attack too. I love this Pokemon. It's a really fun one. Kinda makes me think of Drowsy actually. I mean, after it evolves. A really good special tank too, so I get the feeling that it's gonna be pretty useful as the run goes on. Yeah, we have 2 psychic types, but that's okay. We can make it work. Let's go fight our rival and the Dragon Gym. Wish me luck. Rival time. First is Unpheasant, so I just overpower it with some fire punches pretty easily. We didn't even get hit thanks to him charging up Razor Wind. Next is Superior, and this thing pretty much swept my team the last 2 tries, but this time, it just missed a slam, hit 1 Leaf Blade, then it went down in 2 punches. I really don't know why he even tried for slam. Simisear was pretty easy after we hit 1 Smokescreen and spammed Feint Attack. Yeah, it took a little while, but he fainted. Man, why does our rival only have 3 Pokemon this deep into the run? Isn't that weird? The Dragon Gym is next, and it's much harder. First is Druddigon, and we're just trading shots with our Heracross. We take him out fast, but we lose half of our health in the process. Second is Flygon, and this thing's a pain. We ended up flinching to Rock Slide, and only getting 1 hit in because of that. Then we sent in Grumpig to try and do some damage. We hardly did anything before we fainted though because of his crunches. We ended up having to finish him off with some hits of Return with Lopunny, but even then, it just wasn't easy. Last is Haxorus, and we get 1 Smokescreen in, but it Dragon Dances early and then just starts sweeping through our team with Dragon Tail. It missed a bit here and there, and we even got kinda close to making it faint due to the luck of it missing against Gothitelle, but in the end, it was only a fluke that we got that far. Man, I hate how rarely we have a type advantage. This is brutal. I feel like we're not gonna have a type advantage until the Elite Four. All right, I'm gonna get the team's level up and then keep trying. Well, never mind. I got the team's level up a few levels, so Heracross learned Mega Horn. His first Pokemon went down in 2 hits, then we crit our next 2 Mega Horns to one-shot his other 2 Pokemon. Well, I mean, if the game is just gonna hand us a win like that, then I guess I'll take it. Well, I guess that means we have to get ready for the Water Gym, but I really don't have any great answers for that one. I mean, okay, we haven't had any good answers for most things, to be fair. I think I'm gonna have to hunt down something that can learn Surf so I can go get the TM for Energy Ball. That should help a lot. Did you know the energy ball TM is just across that little bit of water right outside of our house at the beginning of the game? I always kind of like stuff like that, when there is some really cool thing right in your starting town at the beginning of the game that you can't get to until later in the game. You know, Gen 2 had that, or if you want to look at other RPGs, Breath of Fire 2. Oh, Breath of Fire 2 is an awesome game. Hey, if you have that Nintendo Online stuff for the Switch, you can play Breath of Fire 2 on it. I'm getting super sidetracked. Anyway, outside of Energy Ball, I think it's basically just going to be a brute force fight. I'm looking forward to when we can beat the water gym so we can get our hands on the Magmizer. That way we can evolve Magmar. Okay, this water gym took so many tries. Right away we start with Magmar against Caracosta because that way we can do a slight amount of damage so that it can't survive a one-shot with its ability when we use Energy Ball on Gothitelle. Second is Jellicent, and we lost to this thing so many times. It's a real monster. I throw Volibee at it first to try for Feint Attack, and although we start with a crit for great damage, it doesn't really matter, because we go down fast and we have to send in Heracross. He can just use Recover whenever he wants, so he can last ages even with us doing decent damage. Heracross didn't last long, so I had to send in Grumpig. Now this took tons of tries, but eventually on this one, Grumpig actually got a knockout just thanks to a critical Psyshock. Last is Wailord though, and this thing was also surviving forever because it used Amnesia twice right away while I was using Rest and Snore to stay alive. We ended up staying alive for a simply absurd amount of time with Rest, to the point that we used every last power point of Snore. We actually fainted when he had maybe one single point of health left, but we still had Lopunny, so we just hit return to finish it. What a weird fight. So we've got the Team Plasma boss rush coming up of Zinzolin, Colress, and Ghetsis. I figured that Zinzolin will be super easy since he has a small team that's all weak to fire and fighting. Then Colress will probably not be too bad either, although I'm sure that I'll have to try a few times just to figure out the right Pokemon to send in. Ghetsis might be pretty hard though. I don't really have any great plan for him. I don't even know how I'm gonna beat the Cofagrigus at the start since it's pretty tough and it's got leftovers to heal with. And it has Toxic, which is really annoying. I might have to level up for that one, but who knows. Let's give it a try. First is Zinzolin, who we really easily take down with Lava Plume in close combat. He just has a team of 3 frail ice types. It's not really a problem unless we're weak to ice. Ignore that my stomach is growling. I have not eaten yet. I have been up for 3 hours. I should probably eat. Voiceover first. Next is Colress, who just has a bunch of steel types. We got paralyzed early, but we ended up taking down most of his team pretty easily between our fire moves for the steel types and our dark moves for the psychic type. This was all a first try. He ended up being super easy. Ghetsis might be that hard one though. This one took so many tries to figure out. So first is Cofagrigus, and I was just using Fly and Feint Attack with Mandibuzz. I was hoping we wouldn't get poisoned, but we took a hit from Toxic, so although we took him out, we dropped to half health and had to switch. I sent in Heracross as Electros came out, and right away we did massive damage with Megahorn, but I forgot he has Acrobatics, so we obviously got one shot. I sent in Magmortar to finish him off. He used a full restore, but he was also a 2-shot with Flamethrower, so he went down fine. Seismitoad is next, so I had Gothitelle use Energy Ball, but we took an Earthquake first. He survived with the tiniest of slivers, so he got a second Earthquake in before we finished him off. With almost no health left, I had to switch to Lopunny as Drapion came out and started using Dig. It didn't do amazing damage, so I switched to Return. We got hit twice and went to red health, but we took him out. I really don't like that even when we knock someone out, we end up with almost no health left. Out to Grumpig as he sends Toxicroak out, and we instantly take huge damage off Poison Jab before we one-shot him with Psyshock. Last is his Hydreigon, and I didn't have any great answers left, so I sent in Magmortar. We got outsped and hit with Rock Slide to take massive damage. We did nearly nothing to him, then we fainted. I don't like how this is going. I sent in our nearly dead Lopunny to use Return, but we got outsped and fainted to Crunch. The thing is, Hydreigon is losing health every turn to his Life Orb, so I kept sending in Pokemon. He ended up missing an attack on Grumpig, so I got to use a rest to buy more time before we fainted. Then I sent in Gothitelle, who instantly went down as well. He finally ran out of health though because of his Life Orb at that moment, and that gave us a very close victory. We had one Pokemon left. I think if he didn't miss the Grumpig earlier in the fight, we wouldn't have made him faint. Alright, last bit of travel before the final rival fight, and then the Elite Four. Like always, the Elite Four usually requires some serious levels before we can beat it in Gen 5. Although, I'm somewhat confident this time. We have pretty solid counters to fighting Dark, Psychic, and Ghost types, so it might actually be easy. I don't know for sure, I don't want to get overconfident. We've got a decent team, and a lot of good held items, so I think that we stand a chance. Let's go take out our rival real quick. That should be an easy fight. First is Unpheasant, who burned himself off our flame body, then went down pretty fast after wasting his max potion. Bufflant did huge damage with head charge, but went down in a couple of brick breaks. Grumpig ended up fainting to a crunch and a flamethrower from Simisear, but Lopunny was able to finish it off in a couple of returns. And last is Superior, who went down to a couple flamethrowers. I've got to say, Leafblade was hurting us pretty bad though. It was a fast fight, but he did more damage than I was expecting. Now that we're the Elite Four, let's take a look at our stats. Well, we might need to get to be a higher level before we can actually win, but I do think that we stand a good chance. I would get Ice Beam, but Lopunny is our only team member who can learn it, and her special attack is horrible, so that doesn't seem worth it. I do think I'll go pick up Shadow Ball though. Gothitelle could make better use of that than she could her Feint attack. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Fighting Trainer Marshall. Throw is first, and he could hardly do anything to Heracross, so I just kept using Aerial Ace. The great thing is, it did damage kinda slowly, so we could get him to waste a full restore early. We even took him out a little early thanks to a crit. Second is Mine Xiao, and I knew it had bounce, so I switched away from Heracross out to Mandibuzz, but he U-turned into Conkeldurr. We hit Fly for great damage, but nearly went down to a Stone Edge. Our second Fly nearly made him faint, but thankfully, he ended up missing, so we were able to finish him off. Out to Sock, so I Fly again, and he only survived thanks to his ability, then made us faint to a Rock Slide. I send in Magmortar to easily finish him off. Last is his Mine Xiao, and I thought Magmortar would be fine, but he outsped us and one-shot us with a high jump kick. Out to Gothitelle, and we easily tanked Bounce and one-shot him with Psychic. I figured that would be the easiest member. Second is Dark Trainer Grimsley. We get flinched off Fake Out right away, then we hit with Night Slash, so our health is already not great. But we flamethrowered Liepard and got it to use a full restore. We did take another Night Slash to go to low health, but we took him out. Crocodile is next, so I sent in Heracross to use Mega Horn. Even with the attack drop from Intimidate, we landed our one-shot. Bisharp is next, so I sent Magmortar back in to one-shot it with Flamethrower. And last is Scrafty, so I had Heracross land another Mega Horn for a one-shot. No, that was even easier than Marshall. Third is Ghost Trainer Chantel. Cofagrigus was a simple two-shot with Flamethrower, and next is Golurk, so I sent in Gothitelle. We instantly crit an Energy Ball to bring him to yellow health, then we got hit by Shadow Ball to go down to only 9 health, then we finished him off. Don't like how close that was. Drift Bloom was next, so I switched to Magmortar to go for Thunderbolt. Did great damage, and we didn't take too much from Shadow Ball, so it was an easy two-shot. Last is Chandelure, and right away Mandibuzz did great damage, but it wasn't a two-shot thanks to her using a berry. She ended up missing a Fire Blast on the second round, but then used a full restore to hang on. Our next hit did great damage, and we were in two-shot range, but she outsped us and finished us off. I had to send in Magmortar to overpower her with a Flamethrower and a Feint attack. We almost fainted, but we did hold on. Fourth is Psychic Trainer Caitlyn. Masharna was taking alright damage from Feint attack, but was hitting us in return with a Charge Beam. I switched to Dark Pulse, and although it didn't do much, it got a flinch. Because of that, we could switch back to Feint attack and make her faint. Sigalith was just a one-shot with Feint attack, and Gothitelle took a bit of damage but really hurt us with Thunderbolt. We got a second hit in but fainted, so I had to send in Lopunny to try and finish it with Return. It didn't do much, and we lost a lot of health to Psychic, so she ended up full restoring. We took her to below half health before we fainted. I ended up sending in our own Gothitelle, and we nearly fainted to her Shadow Ball. We hit our own Shadow Ball to take her to red health, then we fainted. This is not going well. I ended up sending in Magmortar because he's our fastest, and it paid off. We were able to finish her off before she could attack again. Last is Reuniclus, but we just outsped her and one-shot her with Mega Horn. A lot of that fight was kinda rough, but it was still a first try. This Elite Four went pretty great all things considered. Alright, finally, the Pokemon Champion Iris. First is Hydreigon, and although it hit hard, our Heracross can one-shot it with Mega Horn, so it's not so bad. The problem is, second is Archeops, and you know this thing's a beast. Even with its defeatist ability, it totally destroyed us. It took out literally our entire team. is just so fast and hits so hard. A lot of our team came close to two-shotting it though, so I think I'm just gonna level up a little bit and get closer to its level. I'm gonna have to get all of the team members that are below level 55 up to 55 and make more attempts. I really think that we do have a chance at winning once we can beat Archeops. So I got the team up to level 55 and tried again. Hydreigon goes the exact same as expected, and this time Archeops goes better. It's still rough, and we still lose Mandibuzz and Lopunny, but Grumpig is able to actually finish it off. Once Archeops drops below half health, its stats go down, so it's not so bad at that point. The real danger is it dropping into red health and using a full restore. The problem is, next is Haxorus, and this thing is also super effective against almost our whole team, so it sweeps us. Man, this is harder than I thought it would be. Maybe by level 60 we can win? Look, I'm gonna be honest, I think we're gonna have to be closer to level 70. Alright, level 60. So I gave Gothitelle Thunderbolt this time, and it paid off big time. We can nearly one-shot Archeops. Now, that means that we take a huge hit, but it also means that we can waste her full restore on Archeops so that we can get it out of the way early and take it out. Haxorus is still pretty strong, but this time I had Mandibuzz fight it from the start, since it couldn't do much damage to us. Annoyingly enough, she was just using X-Scissor though, so I thought I was safe to fly, but the moment I did, she started using Dragon Dance. Maybe she can read our moves? Regardless, I lucked out and crit fly to make Haxorus faint. Out to Heracross as Lapras came out, and we outsped it and one-shot it with close combat. Next is Druddigon, so I had Grumpig hit Psychic. I don't think it normally would have been a two-shot, but we dropped her special defense, so the second one was a knockout. Last is her Aggron. I had Gothitelle hit an energy ball for a bit of damage before we quickly fainted, then had Magmortar finish it off with Flamethrower. I probably could have one-shot it with Magmortar from the start, but I didn't want to risk it. Hey, that's a win at level 60! That was actually harder than I thought it would be. It's nice doing a Gen 5 run with a full team, but man, some of those gyms really slowed me down. Can't wait to do it in White 2 though, just to see how different it is. I really hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon Challenge should be up next week on Saturday, like usual, with Pokemon Emerald, with only Bulbasaur. I can only imagine how rough the Psychic Gym is going to be in that one. As always, I'm looking at your suggestions in the comments, in the challenge request section of my Discord channel, and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Look, I would love to do a very long outro, but my stomach has been growling for 3 pages, 4 pages, about half the script my stomach has been growling for. I should probably get some food in me. I gotta get a whole lot of walking in. Actually, I gotta get a lot done today because I'm gonna be very busy for the rest of this week. By the way, I'm planning on it is March that I'm doing this voiceover right now. This video is coming out, late March? In April, I'm gonna try and stream most days. I can't promise I'm going to be able to stream every day. I don't think I'll be able to do quite every single day. You know, things are going to come up. I'm going to be really busy. At other times, I need to get other things done. But I currently don't have any appointments in April. So I think I'm going to be able to get most days at least. Some of the streams are going to be here on YouTube. Some of them are going to be over on my Twitch channel. My Twitch is linked in the description of all of my videos. It's totally free if you want to watch stuff over there, obviously, and Twitch accounts are free and whatever. Again, I specify that because for some reason people sometimes think you have to pay for Twitch. I don't know why. Anyway, random streams will be here. Random streams will be over there. I tend to stream more on Twitch than YouTube because I don't like keeping all my eggs in one basket, but I like both platforms. I'll stream on both here and there. I don't want to stream on both at the same time. I'm not really a big fan of multi-streaming. I feel like having your chat split across multiple different chat rooms just makes it less of a fun environment for the chat. You know what I mean? Yeah, you get more viewership if you stream on both at the same time, but I care more about it being a fun stream, and it's less fun when you split up your chat like that. Anyway, I want to get back to Pokerogue soon, because Pokerogue's super fun, and I haven't played it in way longer than I expected. I want to get back to that, because not only is that really fun playthrough playing Pokerogue on the show, and uploading it all to YouTube after, of course, but it's just super, I feel like it's a super good training program for me, in that it's not only getting me more used to modern moves that exist after Gen 6, and modern Pokemon that exist after Gen 6, but it's just putting me in a lot of interesting Pokemon combat scenarios, and I feel like it's making me better at the game. Not like I'm awesome or something, but it's getting me better at the game, and it's a really fun time doing it, so absolutely want to do more Poke Rogue. And Harvest Moon, and every other game that I want to stream. There's a million games I want to stream. Life is difficult, life is busy. Trust me, I would stream more if I could. But, you know, I also got to spend a whole lot of time doing the Pokemon videos, the Pokemon Challenge videos, and working on stuff that gets me paid better, because Canada's really, really expensive nowadays, and you gotta pay those bills, you know? I got people to take care of. Trust me, if I could afford to stream way more often, I would stream way more often. Just a reminder that stream tips and super chats are super, super useful. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.